Tonight, we're going to be talking about the legacy of Drew's hero.
I thought you were going to say Boba Fett, and then I was going to say Boba Fett?
No, I'm not reusing that.
Yeah, we perfected that one, Drew.
Oh, hey, Daddy Pals, what's up, man? How you doing?
Boba Fett? Daddy Pops, are you still in the city, or did you go home?
He said we're home now.
That's awesome.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another fire episode of the Empire Radio Podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And yeah, we're talking about Drew's hero today.
Yes.
Drew, who is your hero?
Boba Fett?
Boba Fett?
He flies now?
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Boo. Boo.
Hey, they showed him flying in that thing, though. That was pretty cool.
They did.
That was
They did.
actually pretty
I don't
cool.
know if flying was the right word. It was more like he was just kind of swinging around.
Hang
I
on
kind
the
of,
wire.
well, we'll get into it, but I kind of love how they had to have a stunt double for that little thing, but okay, I guess.
You'd be surprised. Insurance stuff is crazy for movies.
True. That's fair.
Anyways, yeah, so we are talking today. We're going to be going over the Disney Plus special, Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett. When we decided to do this, none of us were really aware of how short it actually was. So we're probably gonna dip our toes in things outside of that, talk about Boba Fett. It's just going to be a discussion about Boba Fett, the legacy of Boba Fett, because we're almost at Thanksgiving. At the time of recording this episode, it is Tuesday the 23rd. I can't even talk tonight.
23rd.
Tuesday the 23rd, and Thanksgiving is 2 days away, which means Christmas is just around the corner, which means Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, is about to begin. But speaking of Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates it. We are thankful for all of you.
Yes,
And I don't
we
say
are.
that. I actually don't say that lightly. Like we've said it before, but this podcast would literally just be three guys talking about Star Wars if it didn't have listeners. And while that's a fun time, that kind of defeats the purpose of having a podcast if we don't have any listeners. So thank you so much for listening, for supporting us, for those of you that are in the Discord, for being a part of the community, for sending in voicemails. Like literally the interaction that we have with all of you is incredible. And so this Thanksgiving, the Empire Radio family is definitely thankful for all of you. We're also thankful for the holiday special that we have yet to get Jeremiah to watch, but I have a challenge for all of you.
Uh-oh.
And this is spontaneous. They didn't know this was coming.
Uh-oh.
Everyone, if you want
Yes.
Jeremiah to watch the Christmas special, the holiday special, again, with Drew and I, this year, in a few weeks, send in a voicemail saying that you want Jeremiah.
Because then we're going to get to 12, and it's all going to be the same thing over and over again.
No, we're not going to.
No, we won't.
That's not going to. It's not going to count. Just send us a voicemail saying why Jeremiah should watch it with Drew and I, if you think he should, or why not.
Why not? We can do that.
I just want to hear from you what you guys think about Jeremiah, why he should watch it.
Should we do like a poll on Instagram as well?
No, we shouldn't.
Yeah, true.
Let's do it.
True. You know what to do.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. So
Go vote on there as well.
Jerica, I looked down at the chat. Jerica says, "Done. My first voicemail."
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, just let us know. But happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it.
When's Canadian Thanksgiving? Isn't that?
I don't
like
remember.
a
Isn't it
month?
like a few days after or something like that?
No, I
Something
think
like
it's
that.
like a month before us.
I know
isn't it?
Korean Thanksgiving has already happened. They had
That's a
theirs.
thing
in-
too.
Yes, they have. It's not the same thing, but it's like the equivalent of
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and it's always in October.
I think it's before, because I remember the episode of How I Met Your Mother when Robin said that. Oh, that was like a month ago.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Canadian Thanksgiving isn't. Yeah, it's a month ago, October. So
Yeah.
sorry, our Canadian listeners, we missed it.
Yeah. That's why I said if you celebrate, because not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. Some
True.
people in America don't even celebrate Thanksgiving. They just start doing Christmas, and that is wrong.
Oh,
That
Jeremiah.
but
Thanksgiving, y'all, Thanksgiving is important, especially for Americans, because we're so bad at being thankful for things.
That, I mean, the thankful part, yes.
Yeah, it's
It's my
important to
wife's
take time.
least favorite holiday. She hates it so much.
Why?
Like, she's like regretting this whole week already.
It's funny
I don't know
because
why.
it's my wife's favorite holiday.
I wish it was my favorite holiday until I got married.
Oh,
No, it's not.
well, it's my wife's favorite holiday because she grew up like doing like a big like feast with her mom, and it's really special for them. So like I'm gonna go out and go hunting with my father-in-law. I don't hunt, but I'm going along to film the whole thing and make a video for him.
That's so
And
awesome. You should hunt.
it's
You
really
should.
fun. It's fun though. It's really beautiful, to say the least. But so I'm going, and then my wife and my mother-in-law are going to be cooking all day, and then we're gonna pretty much eat ourselves into a coma.
Dude, next year, me and Stephanie will come down and do Thanksgiving with you guys, because it sounds like you guys do it right.
Oh, we do. There is so much food left over. Like we literally have leftovers. We'll split it up between them and us, and we'll have food for like a solid 3 or 4 days. It's crazy.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw my mother-in-law's recipe list that she was making, and I was like, why are there 4 different types of desserts on here? Like that's
Why would you ask such a question?
I know, yeah. Like, why not?
Yeah.
But anyways,
Speaking
so yeah,
of desserts, Boba
huh?
Fett. What?
What'd you say?
I said, speaking of desserts, Boba Fett.
Oh,
well,
huh.
before we get into
Yeah, I
Boba
was gonna
Fett-
say we've got to do something first. Jeremiah,
Oh,
tell
yes,
us.
we do.
Oh, we have a new winner for this week's challenge contest, which was in 10 sentences, write why the sequel trilogy is the best trilogy.
Yeah, we sent out a challenge into the depths of the galaxy via hyperspace messenger pod. You'll get that reference if you've read the War of the Bounty Hunters expanded universe novels. Anyways, we sent out far and wide. We sent out a message and we said, "Hey, we want you. Here's your challenge. Tell us why they're the best." Which I would say is a pretty hefty challenge. But we got some really good responses. I was actually really, really pleased with the responses that we got. I was informed by Drew that we actually got one like 20 or so minutes before we started recording.
Oh, too late. Sorry.
Yeah, which is a bummer because, as usual, the entry period for all of these contests for the giveaways is Monday night, the day before at midnight. So when we wake up on Tuesday morning, anything that is received after that point, it's not happening. So sorry about that. But all right, Jeremiah, do you have the winning submission pulled up?
I can. 1 second.
Okay.
Let's just say there was a lot of Broom Boy references.
There was so many. There
and I
was
was
so
like,
many Broom Kid references.
I feel like all these are just poking at me, which that's fine.
Yeah, I will say honorable mention to Daddy Palps for
Yes, that was
yours.
funny.
Yours was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well, there were a lot
That's
of
pretty good.
honorable mentions, like Will from the Discord. He
Okay.
did like MLA format,
MLA
cited,
format.
and he had a cover letter.
He had a cover. Okay, he had a cover letter, and he referenced something, and there was a citation at the bottom of the page. Like,
Yes.
that
But-
took me straight back to college for a second.
Sorry, it was way over 10 sentences, so that
It was.
Yeah, it was like a full page. I was like, oh my, okay.
All right, but the winner, who is watching live right now,
Oh.
hopefully this person is still there, didn't leave.
I think they are.
Okay, so the winner is Jerica.
Hey.
So I'm
Jericho,
gonna.
would you like to say a few words? Ah, okay.
She said
Sorry.
she'll send in her first voicemail, maybe, and so
Oh, yeah. There you go.
she can have her.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she says, "Wait, what?" Yeah, you won. You won.
You
You
won.
won the giveaway.
Jerica Tano, which is her Twitch and Discord name. But
Yes.
so I will go ahead and read what she wrote.
Yeah, it's good.
So, why are the sequels the best trilogy? Well, you could leave this argument at Broom Kid, but it goes deeper than that. Without the sequels, we would have never gotten the final return of Palpatine and the mystery behind it. Because of this mystery, Favreau and Filoni seem to be giving us many cool things in canon that we would have never had. One example of this would be The Mandalorian and the implications that Grogu is needed to accelerate the process to bring Palpatine back, but this is not my favorite. Without the return of Palpatine, I do not believe that Waylon would have been brought into canon. When I found out that we indeed saw Waylon in The Bad Batch, it was slightly emotional for me because the heir of the Empire trilogy is something that my father and I really enjoyed reading together when I was younger. And after rereading it
That's
when I
awesome.
was older, we loved debating parts of it that could be brought back into canon. While some people say that they could have been written more fluidly, which I do slightly agree with, this was a criticism given to the prequels as well, and with the help of the Clone Wars, it is now the favorite trilogy of many fans. I think the sequels have created a launching point for so much cool content we may get in the future, and I could not be more excited to see if this new content and I could not be more excited to see if this new content takes us. So that's it right there. And I really like this because it kind of says it's the best trilogy because it sucks so much Disney had to reevaluate and change directions, kind of. So it's kind of like a dual, like it's the worst, but it's also the best because it's putting us in a good direction, which is true. Like I think the sequel trilogy is something that Disney realized, like we kind of made some mistakes and people are not happy, so we have to course correct, and we're going to be getting great content that we might not have had if the sequels were better put together. So
yeah,
that's a very optimistic way to look at the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I really appreciated that because I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with all of y'all. It is impossible for me. Oh, bless you. Are you okay?
No, that was a cough. Sorry.
Okay. So I can't hate Star Wars. I refuse to hate Star Wars for what it is. But I will tell you that the sequels are, no surprise here, my least favorite Star Wars storytelling of all time. And going into this, it was going to be really difficult for someone to actually convince me that they were better. Like it was going to have to be a pretty dang good argument for me to sway me. But what I love about this is she didn't do that at all. She essentially said like nothing about the sequel trilogy itself other than the fact that it was a birthing ground for like the better things that we've gotten.
She did say that the Palpatine thing.
Yeah. But I Daddy Palps, that's not how we win. LOL.
A little salty. Okay.
You dummy. No. He was quoting The Last Jedi, dude. Come on. Yeah, you big dummy. Isn't that what Rose says? She says you dummy or something like that to Finn. Anyways, it's stupid. what I'm trying to say is I love how Jericho was like, yeah, they weren't the best, but the stuff that we got from them it has been really good so far. And I love that because like as a Star Wars fan, I feel the same way. I'm like all the little details. Like I think Grogu being involved in Palpatine's return is much cooler than Palpatine actually returning in the movie because of the way it happened, you know? Like I love I mean like Jericho would probably know this, but like I love the original Thrawn trilogy. And I feel the same way about Wayland. I was a much later adopter to that trilogy than she was, obviously, but I feel the same way about Wayland. So it was just a kind of a great roundabout way of winning that contest. It was good. It was really good.
So I just thought it was kind of funny that in our first two contests, females have won, and our sponsorship is for a men's accessories website. Now, of course, women can wear whatever they want, but I'm just saying it's kind of funny that the women are taking the wins. So, but on that note,
I was gonna say real quick, she did just right that she's not lying when she realized I was Wayland. She almost cried, or she cried. So I mean, I personally liked her email because kind of similar. Like she brought a personal like background to it, and like she liked the cloning like stuff, and like for me, I love cloning. That's just
Drew, he loves cloning.
I love the clones.
That's
So
that's a merch idea if I've ever heard one. Anyways,
but yeah, so I thought it was cool how she brought her whole family, and like she talked about her dad and her, and so it was really good.
Yeah,
so good job. I liked it.
Yep.
Jeremiah, what are you gonna say?
So yes, Jericho, we will be emailing you.
Send you cufflinks, and
so
maybe if you don't want to wear them, you can give them to your dad.
Ooh,
yeah,
yep. I'm sure he'd like those. But anyway, we have another contest that we want to announce.
That we do.
And this one is for a Darth Vader bracelet from cufflinks.com.
Yep.
And so this is going to be a fun contest.
That's one word for it.
It could be very degrading to us because we'll be the butt of the joke.
Yep.
But this next challenge will be you have to send in a voicemail and you have to do your best impression of one of us three.
Yeah.
So if you want to make your best impression about me, go ahead. If you want to do about Drew or Andrew, whoever you choose, you can have one impression, and whoever has the best impression will win the Darth Vader bracelet.
Yes. So just to be clear, you don't have to do all three of us.
Right.
We would actually prefer if you just did one of us. And it is the most accurate, but also the most enjoyable. So put some effort into this, y'all. You've got a lot of you've got a lot of source material.
Yeah.
And
we have a lot of quirks. So
and all I'm saying is, for me, you can't just like use "get out" or like it can't just be like a single phrase or something. Yeah, it's got like put some effort into it. If you're gonna do an impression of me, make it good. Make it as good as possible. Like I said, we want to laugh. We want it to be accurate, and just also keep in mind that it's going to be played on the podcast.
Yeah, if you win, or we could probably do top three, maybe.
Oh, we're going to do top three.
Top three. So
we're going to do top three this time. I look down. Tanner says, "Oh gosh, this could be so fun. Stuffy Leviathan, you guys are going to get slaughtered." Daddy Phelps breaks out my muffin pan. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so a refresher of the rules. The giveaway is open as of right now of recording this.
Yep.
And it closes on Monday night / Tuesday morning. What is that?
The 29th is the Monday night, so 11:59 and 59 seconds.
Yep. PM EST.
Yep. And so it's sending a voicemail, but you gotta remember this. You have to send us a email too, so that we have your contact. Because if you win and we don't have a contact, then you can't win. So just send us the voicemail, then immediately send us an email to EmpireRadioFans@gmail.com.
Correct, because if you win, we have to have a way to get in contact with you.
Yes.
So, yeah, may the best impression win.
True.
I'm nervous. I'm optimistic. I'm excited, but more so nervous.
Can I send an impression in
No.
of each of you?
Would
No,
you want it?
we're not
Do you
allowed
want
to do
the
that.
gift? We're not.
I don't
allowed
want
to
to.
keep
I just want to send one in just to see how.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I'll play it if you want me to.
I don't know. I was like, maybe
it
it's a little
depends
too
on how
cutthroat.
many we get in.
My ideas are a little too cutthroat. I don't want to be too.
please don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it.
We should quick mention that Cody's was really good too. I don't know if we mentioned Cody's email.
Oh, his submission
for the submission.
Yes.
Cody, shout out to Cody.
Yep.
You were second place.
Ooh, yes.
We were debating between you and Jerica.
Yep.
But
So great work. So yeah, may you have fun and hopefully not slaughter us, burn us, roast us too badly.
now be nice, okay?
I mean,
okay,
be nice
I'm
to me.
okay.
Don't be mean, but that doesn't mean you have to be nice. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just looked down. Tanner says K-pop intensifies. Get out. I mean, but you know what? I'm okay taking a hit for the entertainment of the masses. So, speaking of entertainment of the masses, Boba Fett does that pretty well, and that's what we're talking about today. So let's dive in to this conversation. So, the Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett is a documentary. It's 21 minutes long, and it's kind of an overview of the beginnings of Boba Fett for The Empire Strikes Back, all the way up through the Book of Boba. In fact, the last line is Kathleen Kennedy talking about, like, there's so much anticipation for this show, and then it just ends. Like, the screen goes black and then it just ends. Like, I thought there was going to be, like, I don't know, part of the trailer that we've already seen, or like, I don't know, something more, but then it's just done. So
kind of wish it would have ended before she started talking. But,
oh God, get over yourself.
I mean,
anyways,
when we found out we got 3 more years of her. Anyways,
so it's a good overview, especially if you don't know, if you like Boba Fett, if you're a younger Star Wars fan, you don't know a ton about Boba Fett. This is a great kind of summary of the character of Boba Fett. There's a little bit about Jango in there, but for someone who is a more experienced fan, I should say, there's not a great deal of
oh yeah, I knew everything.
New material. Yeah.
I was like, I know all this. Okay.
Yeah, there was some cool behind the scenes shots from, like, the filming of, Empire and Jedi that you've probably seen. You might not. They got what's his face from Rancho Obi-Wan. I always forget his name.
I don't know, but we need to reach out to him and get an interview with him.
Yeah, we really should. They had him on there talking about Boba Fett merch. If you've watched the episode of The Toys That Made Us on Star Wars, he in this documentary also shows off his 2 missile firing Boba Fett
action. Well, he has the other one too,
but it doesn't fire.
It doesn't fire.
He's got the one that he sent out.
She didn't show that in the toy, so it kind of makes me think it's a newer one.
Yeah,
that he added to his collection. But
Steve Sansweet, thank you, Puzzler.
Yes,
Steve is a great guy, and I love what he does. So, but it's kind of just an overview. But the theme of this is, as the title suggests, the legacy of Boba Fett, because everyone probably knows this, but Boba Fett was a character originally that, 1, had no backstory, 2, had an incredibly small amount of dialogue, a total of like 4 lines over the 2 movies, Empire and Return of the Jedi, and 6 cumulative minutes of screen time total.
6 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah. So, like,
don't laugh.
Thanks, Drew.
He knows down to the exact second.
He's like got a tattoo on one of
his arms, right, okay?
Of the timestamp of how long it is.
6 minutes and 32 seconds.
It's like Boba Fett's helmet, and then the Roman numerals of the timestamp. But yeah, so the phenomenon, they talk a lot about the phenomenon that came from this, because so many people thought he was incredibly cool, but then there was no source material, and so that obviously with people creates a lot of hype. What are you laughing at?
Daddy Pops. The chat, he said it's actually a lip
Lip.
tattoo.
It's on the inside of your bottom lip.
Oh gosh.
That's amazing. Also, send in a voicemail if you think Drew should get that tattooed on the inside of his lip.
No.
He said no.
Drew, you could start like a Boba Fett fan club, and it's like Wakanda, where they have the thing in their lip.
Yeah.
What?
You could do that, where like only people that are part of the club have the lip.
Well,
tattoo.
I'll
What
get if
was
you
the-
two get it.
No.
No, I'm not gonna get a tattoo.
No.
Well,
Kidding me?
I have so many other tattoo ideas before that.
Yeah, I would never get a tattoo. Like,
Yeah. Drew, what was the timestamp again?
How? 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah, that your club could be 632. The 632 club.
Ooh.
but you have to it has to be based in the area code of 632.
Which
And
is what?
all the
Someone in the
meetings-
chat find it.
And all the meetings last 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
And you can only say total 4 sentences.
Four
during the whole
lines,
meeting.
Hey, Daddy Pop said he would get it. See, all right, we already got
I
one.
don't
person.
doubt that.
What does that
And-
mean?
No, it's a great thing. I like that about Daddy Palps. So
Die Hard, right
if
there.
you get it, please send us a picture. I'm just saying. I want picture. It didn't happen. Anyways, so that's the hype. That's the reason why Boba Fett blew up, is because everyone. I mean, come on, we have to realize, and this is important to keep in context, that like we all grew up knowing Boba Fett. Like there was you saw him for the first time, watching Empire or whatever the media was, but like he was already an established figure, right? I think it was even more impactful when all the entire world had was A New Hope, and then all of a sudden there's this character in Empire, and you're like, he is obviously the coolest person in this room. Like I would argue in that scene, he's way cooler looking than even Vader.
Yeah.
Like he's a cool looking guy,
I don't know. You don't want to offend Dengar. He's gonna send in a voicemail.
Don't forget, Dengar was in that room.
And Bosk, he's pretty cool.
Bosk is pretty cool, but he's
Bosk isn't as cool as Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Dengar is cooler than Boba Fett, in my opinion, because Dengar supports our show.
Yeah.
IG-88.
IG-88 is pretty cool.
Wasn't there like 2 more like random ones that like no one remembers?
Zuckuss was there.
I don't know who that is.
He was another bounty. He plays a character. He's actually like a pretty-ish well developed character in the War for the Bounty Hunter series. Okay, so I would say if you haven't read the War for the Bounty Hunter series and you're into the expanded universe, it can get a little dull at times, but it's really good. It's a really good read, and it goes a lot into the inner workings of the Bounty Hunter Guild, what was happening to Boba Fett post Return of the Jedi. It gives a brief synopsis of how he survived the Sarlacc pit. Dengar is a main character in that. Bosk has a huge role. It's really good. I would definitely highly recommend them. I haven't read the 3rd book yet, but I've read the first 2. So, anyways, so yeah, I mean that's kind of the documentary, because from there, they talk about how he became a thing. Because originally George Lucas was going to make them. I think Ben Burt said super soldiers. That was like the kind
Super
of
Troopers.
Oh yeah, super troopers. That was like the working title for who they were going to be, and apparently they were going to be like the Empire's like beefed up stormtrooper type.
Kind of like I kind of picture it as like what they did with like the Dark Troopers, like
or like the arc or like an ARC trooper type thing.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like the Dark Trooper was like the first new one that they introduced in Rogue One. When they're taller, they make different noises. They're all black. Like it would have been something like that. Like they're different. They fly. No, okay, Jeremiah.
Nope,
All right.
we're not
Well,
doing
Sorry,
that.
I was looking up area code 632, and it does not exist in the United States.
Wow. Drew, you start your own area code. And only the members of the club have that phone with that area code.
Ooh.
But it's the old Nokia. Boop, boop, boop. It's like a walkie-talkie phone.
All right.
I feel like Boba Fett would have one of those.
I feel like he would have something on his wrist to talk.
Yeah, but it's like still like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, maybe.
So.
And thanks for the chat. They fly now because I was waiting for Jeremiah.
I was really hoping no one's going to do it, and they didn't. So, so anyways, so Boba Fett was originally going to be a super stormtrooper, which is why the prototype Boba Fett was white, all white, and it was very interesting to me. Yeah, Drew, if you're watching the video version of this or you're watching the stream, Drew's got the prototype helmet, along with the Boba Fett, the original Boba Fett helmet, and the Mandalorian helmet behind him.
Also, the prototype pop.
Oh, sorry.
Galaxy's Edge exclusive.
Wow, that was a flex and a half.
But anyways,
goodness. Okay. So yeah, and I thought it was really interesting that there wasn't a ton of intentionality in the creating of this character. Ralph McQuarrie and the other guy who's actually in the documentary, and I forget his name. He talks about how they like kind of handed Boba Fett back and forth. And every time someone would be like, oh, what if we added this? What if we added that? And then they'd send it back to the other person and they would do that. And it was just kind of this like hodgepodge of different ideas that came together to create this character. And how like even like he couldn't even remember where the T visor came from.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so funny because that shape has become
the Mandalorian shape,
like,
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like deeply intertwined culturally with Boba Fett, right? Like even in other sci-fi, like adaptations of things or original stories or whatever, like when I see a T-shaped visor, like even if I'm watching something that has gladiators or something in it that they have like an actual historical visor like that, my brain literally goes to Boba Fett first. Like it doesn't, I don't know about you guys, but it's not like, oh, that's a gladiator helmet circa,
no, I think
72 AD. It's like
things that Star Wars is super known by is like kids could never watch the full movie ever, or even any of the movie, but they know who Vader is. They know who R2. They know who C-3PO is.
Yeah.
And if they see Boba Fett, they're gonna know. Oh, that's Boba Fett. Who's Boba Fett? I don't know. I just know that's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like they just know who that is because that's how. Like, there's not a lot in modern day culture that you could see something and know what it is without like being on Instagram and Facebook and everyone telling you about it. So
yeah, and I would say
cool.
there's not another intellectual property that has so many, because there are others. You've got, of course, Disney has a plethora of them, but outside of that, it's like, Snoopy, Ronald McDonald, stuff like that. But like Star Wars is one of the other, I would say, other than Disney, that's just like they've got scores of them. Like,
well, and they're talking about how when they first showed Boba Fett in the parade, and people that was like they had like was that Disney World?
No, it was a local.
It's the guy's town.
Yeah, it was the local California.
Was it George Lucas's, like the town that he lived in?
I don't remember, but it was like a parade, and he was like with
Darth Vader,
and people were still drawn to Boba Fett, even though like obviously they're drawn to Vader, but like,
oh yeah, and fun fact, that happened before the release of the holiday special, so it was a Christmas parade. And so
that's what it was. Yes.
And I didn't know this, but it was like a local Christmas parade, and George Lucas was like, "Yeah, let's just put Boba Fett in the parade." And it wasn't cosplay. Like they actually wore.
No, it was like legit
the screen costumes. Like it was crazy, and no one knew who Boba Fett was. But they were talking about how like you look at him and you're like, "That's definitely not a stormtrooper." I don't know who it is, but like I mean, they've got footage of this where kids were like flocked around him, getting autographs and like walking with him in the parade and like tugging on the cape and like all this stuff. And like, it's one of those happy accidents where they created a character that has such a visually striking, image and persona, and now a brand that it's lasted 40 years. I looked down at the chat, and Daddy Pops was talking about how the T-shaped the T helmet shaped all of Star Wars. Like, it created an entire race of people with their own planet and a war with the Jedi, an entire culture based off that helmet. Like, not even mentioning the clones. Like, I mean, for real. Like, they created this character, and then 40 years later, I mean, the clone helmets are extreme. I mean, they're basically designed off of the original T design, with some modifications. We've got the entire Mandalorian people, which literally were not a thing until Boba Fett was created. After Boba Fett was created, and now they're even in the expanded universe, like a super prominent like race in the Star Wars galaxy, interwoven into the stories. Like, I'm still playing through KOTOR, and like, obviously the Mandalorian Wars literally just finished at that time. So there's like, and I've got a Mandalorian in my party, and like,
weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, well, you don't really have a choice. You just kind of pick him up, but but it's like, it's just crazy to realize how much of an impact these artists just kind of shuffling a design back and forth, had. And then the crazy thing is that we were going back to the super soldier thing. The reason why Boba Fett became a thing is because they didn't have the budget to replicate the costume another 99 times. So they made the costume. There's that tape of Ben Burtt, the legendary sound designer for Star Wars, like, basically revealing this costume to the world, to the studio over in London, and
in all white,
yeah, because it hadn't been painted yet. And this was supposed to be like a super stormtrooper, and they made it, and George was like, yeah, we don't have the budget, so let's just make him a bounty hunter. He was just like, yeah, let's make a bounty hunter. And then they painted the other artist guy, and I'm blanking on his name, and I apologize, but the other guy who worked with Ralph McQuarrie on the design literally painted it silver as a base coat, and then just, I think he said railway or railroad colors. Like, he pulled a bunch of railroad based colors and just painted it.
Yeah,
just came up with the paint scheme, and then reliced it, and the silver came through underneath, and that's just, George just let him do his thing, and that's how Boba Fett became a thing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
The funniest part about that interview, when he's like interviewing that reveal of Boba Fett all white, he's like, gets feedback on the microphone. Like, oh, I got feedback for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
because he has a speaker.
He had a speaker in his.
It was just funny. Like,
yeah,
he didn't know how to respond. He was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, because like the original Boba Fett costume had a speaker in the chest plate, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what is he asking? He's like, do you want to say anything?
And he's like, can I ask you questions?
He's like, yeah, sure. But like, you hear, it's like Boba Fett's voice, obviously, not Tamora Morrison, but
yeah. Do you think that in order to replicate the Boba Fett costume for the 501st, you have to have a speaker in it?
No.
That's a good question. I don't think so, but I would say that's a legitimate question for the sake of authenticity.
Would that be like a hardcore flex if you actually did?
Probably. I mean, to be fair, like,
I've always wanted to afford a Boba Fett folk costume. Always.
Those are expensive, bro. Really expensive.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
One day, maybe.
I mean, the flex in it of itself is making a Boba Fett costume that holds up to the 501st standards, because I mean, they're legit. They're picky. Yeah.
We went through their whole book.
Yeah.
It's like this big of just costumes that you can potentially do.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I think Boba Fett, aside from being a unique character, Daddy Palps was like, that's such a cool origin story. And then Jerica said the character just kind of made itself that he's that cool. And I don't know of any other character, aside from maybe the mention of the Clone Wars, even though that's not a character, it's kind of its own thing. But like, I can't think of another entity in Star Wars that has had that sort of a developmental story. I think the Anakin backstory, you could maybe claim that for that, but like at the same time, I feel like George also had a plan for that. Whereas with Boba Fett, he didn't. And I thought it was funny as they're talking about, they were talking about the holiday special and how, did you guys catch this? They talked about how George decided to put Boba Fett in the holiday special just to kind of soft release it, but he specifically said, "Yeah, we didn't have a ton of influence over that." Did you see that?
He was like the only thing
Yeah.
I was allowed to put in or something like that.
And I just thought it was funny because like he makes a face right before they cut, and there's like a split second of just sheer annoyance on his face. I can tell, but I just thought it was funny that like the influence that he had over the holiday special was the one really good part about the holiday special.
It's the one and only part that's on Disney Plus.
That's true, yeah. So anyways, yeah, Boba Fett, he was kind of an accidental character, and then now we've had Jango in the prequels. We've had,
which
so
I
many.
love that part of the documentary.
Yeah,
when they talked to like the original kid actor of Boba
Daniel
Fett.
Logan.
Yeah, and they went over his whole like story as a kid and how Morris was talking to him. He was like, "All right, well, I guess I'm your dad. You're my son, so you can call me dad, and I'll call you son." And then his response to it was like, "Okay, dad." Like that was like, and they did that on set, and that's how they talked to each other. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
Do you think we'll get Daniel Logan in a flashback in the Book of Boba, like when he's younger?
It could. I mean, he could. He's so involved in the fandom.
True.
He's so like he's still. I mean, they all are. Like all of the Bobas are, but it's possible.
I was kind of mad that they didn't mention our buddy. John Morton, is that his name? Yeah, John Morton.
Yeah,
like
they didn't talk about him at all. How he stepped in and played like two of the major scenes in that movie. I don't what. Like, yeah, he did. That's part of the 6 minutes and 32 seconds. Like, he has probably one of those minutes for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time something like that has
but
happened.
I also feel like they probably didn't because it kind of seemed like that whole thing was also a tribute to him because he did pass away. So it kind of, I feel like if they would have mentioned it in that situation, it kind of would have took from him a little bit.
Yeah.
But then right after that, they did a stunt double thing, and I was like, "You're not gonna mention that literally someone stepped in because you guys were delayed, and someone else had to play the role of Boba Fett because the other guy had a." But we know the real story, and if you want to know the real story and you have not checked out that interview, go check it out on our YouTube page.
Our vlog from when we went to Nerdin' Out Con.
Yeah. You know what they should also check out?
Ooh,
a word from the first. Yep, they should. Thanks, Drew. You just ripped that right out from under me. Yes, cufflinks.com, the first sponsor of today's episode. We've already talked about them a little bit, but let's take a quick break and listen to a word from that sponsor. What's up, everyone? Andrew here with a word from the sponsor of today's episode, cufflinks.com. If you didn't know, cufflinks.com is the premium accessories marketplace, and they offer a wide range of products, including but not limited to ties, cufflinks, jewelry, and much more. The awesome thing about cufflinks.com is that they've partnered with popular brands like Star Wars to bring you exclusive, officially licensed products. Their products are designed in a way that's great looking and fun, which means you can support your favorite fandom and look good doing it. Want to snag something awesome for yourself or someone else? Try using the code EMPIRE20, that's with a capital E and no space at checkout, to receive 20% off your next order with no minimum purchase. Still not convinced? Well, cufflinks.com offers outstanding customer service, 1 to 5 day delivery anywhere in the United States, and free shipping on all orders over $100. Want to feel like 1,000,000 credits in your next outfit? Head on over to cufflinks.com. Do it.
Do it.
All right. I just looked down, and Daddy Pops went to Wesley Andrews.
What?
Yeah. Daddy Pop. I mean, it's not time for that. I mean, it could be. I mean, if you wanted to, we could just go ahead and listen to a word from the second sponsor of today's episode. If you wanted to, that's a good segue.
Why not?
What?
Why not?
Yeah, do something we never done before. Yeah, I just looked down and I saw that Daddy Pops went to Wesley Andrews this weekend. Talked to the workers, by the way. Good coffee.
Dude, you should have told me. I could have met you. How dare you?
But speaking of good coffee, let's just take a listen to the word from the second sponsor of today's episode, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. You know what to do if you want some good coffee. We were just having a discussion while we were listening to the ad about how one of the viewers live wants to like coffee. You just have to find the right coffee.
And we know where it is. You don't
We
have
do.
to find it. We actually found it for you.
wesleyandrews.cc.
Yep.
And now, speaking of which, let's listen to a word from the spot. No, I'm joking. We're not going to do it again. Andrew's like, what?
I'm counting all the sponsors. Wait, we got a new one.
We got a new one? We didn't know about?
I took a photo of that.
What?
Oh, I was reading the chat. Sorry.
Oh.
Aloud. I don't know. All right.
Anyways. So yeah, Boba Fett.
I was kind of sad that they didn't mention how they came about with like the slave one. They didn't go over that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice though that I can't remember? I think it was one of the toys or something. The kids was like, "That's Boba Fett's ship." Like that was the name of the ship while they were waiting for the real one. But
yeah,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. It's just actually incredible when you think about it. How it's an accidental character, and now he's one of the most recognizable symbols in all of Star Wars. Has his own. I mean, like in the expanded universe, he becomes Mandalore.
Yeah,
like he literally rules Mandalore. Like he gets to that point. He has 2 different iterations of his starship. The second one is horrendous, but he does, and he plays a really important role in the world of the bounty hunters. Like in the War of the Bounty Hunters books, there are very many references of how legendary he is. Like they really play him up in those books as being like indestructible. No one can kill him. Even when people think they've killed him, he's not dead. Like his ship. Huh?
Do you think that we're going to get that in the Book of Boba, where they're going to kind of like take from that EU side of Boba and try and bring that into canon? To a certain degree, and obviously it's not going to be fully what it was, but
it would be kind of hard just because of where the story takes place, and the fact that he's taking over Jabba's criminal organization. But I think that they could definitely pull from some of the elements. The War for the Bounty Hunters, that trilogy in the expanding universe has two separate stories going on. In fact, in the book, there are sections that are like that literally say now, and then there are sections that say then, and it goes back and forth between what is happening post Return of the Jedi, but it's like part of it is actually taking place while Return of the Jedi is happening. So it's technically post the sail barge scene, but it's still technically some of the events are still technically within that, like, whatever that time period is that takes place during Return of the Jedi, and then a little after it. Because there's like it was really strange for me because like they talk about it being post Jabba's palace, but then there were still multiple mentions of the Empire still being a thing. And you're like, wait, oh, so this literally must be taking place
like in between it.
yeah, during Return of the Jedi. But then so that's the now, and then the then is I think between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. So there's these like two separate stories going on.
Is he dead? Like he dies in the Sarlacc pit, and like is he dead in those books, or does he actually like get out?
No, he gets out of the Sarlacc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's originally where him surviving took place.
Out.
Like
Gotcha.
yeah, that's where the idea came from, is like he survived the Sarlacc pit in the EU, and that's how he ended up living on to become, like, it was actually him. It wasn't a clone of him. It wasn't someone else wearing the armor. It was like it was actually him, which was super interesting. But yeah, so I think they could pull from some of that.
I think they will. I mean, it's Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
he's been pulling from because like most of the stuff that we've been getting is like clips of other things that are EU. You know, I mean, they pulled Thrawn out of nowhere and gave us a whole thing to the point now we have like 2 Thrawn trilogies.
Is Dave Filoni involved in this one?
I mean,
I know he was interviewed in the thing, but
I'm pretty sure he has a big thing to do with it. He was interviewed, and he had the Book of Boba Fett
well, he always has the shirt on for whatever they're talking about.
It also said like set design or something like that.
I think he might not be filming it, but I feel like they have to go through him. I mean, because we talked about how he is a big part of Lucas now, so like
one thing,
I feel like a lot of stuff goes through him.
One thing that Puzzler said in the chat that I think is actually possible, and it could work really well. So there's a character, what is his name? Kudar Mubat. They refer to,
the spider person thingy.
Yeah. How did you know that?
Because I read it in the chat.
Oh, come, man. I thought you
got him.
I literally thought that, I was like, oh, dude, you know this story? But Kudar Mubat, so they call him the Assembler, and he literally floats through space in like, think of it as an asteroid of junk and ship parts and like metal and stuff that he's assembled himself.
This is like a biological creature, or
correct? He's arachnid. So honestly, I'm not on board for that, because
is it like the Trench's species?
No.
Admiral
Trench. This is completely different.
Oh,
so it's his own thing. So he's arachnid in nature, and he has subnodes. So his consciousness it's really strange. He can birth these things called subnodes from himself and give it a part of his consciousness and a specific level of intelligence, and he can make them to do certain things. So he lives in this thing by himself, but technically he's got all these different companions that are also technically himself, connected by like a neural network that is also described as like spider silk. It's kind of creepy, but he acts as a black market broker in the criminal underworld. So a lot of times he's in charge of like connecting people who have really high stakes bounties with bounty hunters, and acting as the middleman. He handles the payments and all that stuff. He's like He's a black market broker essentially but in many different applications, weapons deals, bounties, all that stuff. And he's obsessed with greed. He's obsessed with obtaining junk, and he just kind of flies through space in this thing. But he plays a really pivotal role in those books. I haven't read the third one yet, but I know in the first two he plays a really pivotal role, and is, well, I'm not going to spoil anything for those of you who want to read it, but he's there, and I think that it would be a great thing to add into the Book of Boba Fett series as Boba is like pulling together the underworld. I think it would be really cool to see him, even though it would be really creepy.
So I was just thinking this. So how does the Book of Boba Fett trailer start? With that spider thing that holds the brain of the monks or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if the spider thing is supposed to be like a little like
Easter egg.
Obviously, it's an established thing.
Yeah.
In
But
Jabba's
what
palace,
if it
but
like also hinted
at this character that's like a spider?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Like, do you think that's a subtle like?
I think that would be
a
good
little
Star
bit
Wars theory movie video.
Huh?
That could be video. A Star Wars theory video.
Yeah. I don't think that they're doing that intentionally. I think that was more so a nostalgia kick back to Jabba's palace.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because Jabba's palace is one of their monasteries. But I think it would be really cool. So thank you for putting that in the chat, Puzzler. That's a really good idea.
I looked up Dave Filoni on Wikipedia is listed as a director and executive producer of the Book of Boba Fett.
There you go.
Yeah.
So he's going to be directing probably an episode, which is cool.
Yeah. So
probably the one that seems
we'll know Daniel Logan in a flashback.
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
We'll know exactly when it's Dave's video. Yeah, so Ethan Ethan he sent us thing in our IG images of a book. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but it had something to do with the prequels but yeah. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
What?
I don't know.
Oh, this the chat. I thought you were reading it, Andrew. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, Boba Fett, we've come full circle in 40 years, and now he's finally getting his own show, which is really cool, and becoming being brought back into the Star Wars universe in live action, which is a big deal because it's one thing to bring it back in animation, which that's cool and all, but to actually see him come to life again and be played by Tamora Morrison is awesome. It really is, especially because after he played Jango, they went back and added his voice in pretty much anything or pretty much everything. Like he became Boba Fett,
Yeah.
So it's cool to be able to see him come back and make a return as the character.
Yeah.
So again, it was only 21 minutes, and most of it is stuff we've already talked about.
And most of it is things we already knew, or at least I did.
Yeah.
Like the diehards, like the origin of the suit, the origin, like on all that stuff, and how Boba Fett became Boba Fett. Like I knew a lot of it. I thought it was also cool though, they did mention in that thing, which I totally forgot. But when they're breaking down the white suit, how they mentioned his knee rockets.
Yeah.
And how like we never actually got to see that until the Mandalorian series when we actually got to see the knee rockets work.
I'm really glad they made use of those.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But yeah, I think the most important thing here is that, and this actually kind of ties in to our voicemail, the voicemail that we have for voicemail time. But every character in Star Wars does have a legacy, whether you realize it or not, especially because different people resonate with different characters differently. Like Boba Fett is super cool, and I like him a lot, but he's never been like a top 3 character for me. But that's because I resonate with different things than Drew does, than Jeremiah does. obviously Jeremiah resonates with different things because he thinks the first half of A New Hope is trash. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, Drew's like, but
we let it
I think,
slide.
yeah, we'll let it slide. But I think the most important thing from this documentary is seeing how impactful pop culture characters can be, especially Star Wars characters, and how they can foster their own subcultures, essentially. Because they do. Like, you know, it's just the fact of the matter. Like, there are diehard Boba fans, there are diehard Luke fans, there are diehard Broom Kid fans. Drew's the runner. He's the president of that fan.
Maybe
there
Broom Kid will
really-
be the new Boba Fett. Like, he's only
yes.
in the movie for like 6 minutes and 32 seconds. And
I mean, from the emails we got this week, it seemed like he is.
Yeah.
maybe this is where it starts.
Email.
We're the podcast that makes Broom Kid as big as Boba Fett is.
I don't want to be known for that.
I would be fine with it if he became a legit character.
You guys would be fine. I would sit in depression.
Stop. But yeah, it's just really cool to see the impact the characters of this this huge story that is Star Wars can have on culture, on different people. And we all know that, but it's just really cool to be reminded of that, and to be reminded of the community that can come
before
from
social media. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
it's this character was so hyped, and there was no social media backing behind this character besides just like the paper that showed the picture, or that video that was in black and white. Like, that was like literally it. And which I thought was weird that the video was in black and white, but the movies are in black and white.
It's probably just an old camcorder they had.
They couldn't afford color film.
Color film.
Let alone like to paint the, they didn't even paint the costume at that time. Who knows if they could afford it? They might have had to scrounge up money for the paint itself.
Sure.
Dude, the production of those movies was riddled with setbacks. It's crazy. Anyways.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why we got a different actor to play.
Yeah. Boba Fett. But it's interesting because I think that's why Boba Fett became so popular, Drew, was the lack of social media.
Well, I think he became so popular because he looks so much different than anything they've gotten before.
Yes, but then people didn't have access to information as quickly too.
Yeah,
you didn't have.
I think it was the Rancho Obi-Wan was talking about how they, with that toy, gave them another opportunity to have a bad guy.
Oh yeah,
because they didn't have like a lot of bad guy figures.
It was just Darth Vader.
Or I think it was Dave Filoni who mentioned it. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah,
because he was saying it was another figure to add as a bad guy to put in your Vader case, that case that everyone carried.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that was another thing too, is because like he was like a bad guy, which I mean his character developed so much different than the original like movie. But I mean he's a bad guy, but he's not. He's a money guy.
Yeah,
a money guy.
Yeah, I mean that's the way he is in the expanded universe too. It's like he has a pretty solid atmosphere of respect. And he has his own rules, and if you play by those rules, he's not gonna go out of his way to harm you or to be necessarily evil. However, if you get in the way of a bounty for him, he'll take you out. Like it's very interesting. He's like not inherently a bad guy, but also he does not really bad things. Yeah, he's not the best guy,
Yeah. Well, and like even in The Mandalorian, like they made him like he said that he would work with him until he got Grogu back or whatever. Like that was like his whole thing was, so he worked with him through that, and he didn't have to do that. He got his armor, like he could have left, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But it is because he's just loyal to himself as a brand and like who he believes as himself as a brand. Yeah, as a brand.
Yeah,
like
Bobaco.
Bobaco.
So
Fett Incorporated.
Ooh.
Fettcore.
Maybe he can borrow the H&M from the Bad Batch and drive it around. No.
All right. Well, on that
right,
note,
okay.
I think this is a good segue moment to transition over to voicemail time. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Here we go.
It's voicemail time. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Drew.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being a part of that. I might make that my alarm one day.
You should. It's wake up time.
Oh, there you go.
I have it now.
Dang it!
I have it recorded.
I'm supposed to charge you money for that. Dang it.
All right. So
Charge 'em money.
speaking of characters' legacies, we do have one voicemail. We have one voicemail this week, and it is from Michael, and he actually talks about not necessarily a character's legacy per se, but something related to what we were just talking about. So let's listen to Michael's voicemail.
Hey guys, this is Michael from the Discord. Just wanted to pop in and ask a quick question. So Han Solo is my favorite Star Wars character, one of them at least. And my favorite line from Han Solo is "I know" from Empire Strikes Back.
That's a good
It's
one.
one of my favorite moments. So I want to know, what are you guys' favorite moment from Han Solo, from the original trilogy or from the sequel trilogy, or from Legends, if that's the route Andrew wants to go. Thank you guys very much for everything you do. May the Force be with you.
And with you.
And also with you, Michael. Thank you. I actually am not.
I know mine.
Okay. Well, just
Okay.
go ahead. Go for it.
I think I've mentioned this before, but I See You in Hell. That's the best. Han
Oh
Solo
yeah,
moment.
that was one of your favorite. Wasn't that one of your like favorite moments of all time too, or like your favorite quotes or something?
Yeah.
We've talked about before. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like one of my favorite.
Because it's like, you're like, does that mean there's like
Yeah.
an
It
afterlife in the Star Wars universe or something? And
Well, but it's the same universe. It ties in our universe to their universe.
Oh yeah, he's trying to. It's the Marvel. It's the SWCU,
Mm-hmm.
which now is blowing wide open. So it could be all the same universe apparently.
It's possible.
Okay,
But yeah,
so that's yours.
that's mine. From
All right,
Han Solo.
Jeremiah. Do you want to think on it?
favorite moment, I would say when he dies. not because he dies, but
that
whole
scene.
that whole scene.
Jeremiah.
Okay,
Oh, okay. I got it. I got it.
No,
Sorry,
we're
I had
done
to. I had
over
to get
this.
past the initial shock.
what?
I got it. I
I'm
got
not. It's not. I don't like it because he died. I like it because it's
It's so emotional. It was like the
Yeah.
it's when you compare him at that moment to when we first meet him,
mm-hmm.
his growth as a human
Yeah.
being,
Yeah. I got you.
and
I
who
got
he
you.
became, and how he's trying to save his son from the dark side.
I got you.
And it's that moment, and it's just one of my favorite moments. It's not my top 5 moments, but it was an honorable mention. I remember when we did top moments. I just think that's one of the best scenes in the sequel trilogy too. So
I would stand behind that statement too as well. That's a good one.
what about who are you calling scruffy looking?
Yeah. That's right
That's a good
after
one.
Luke gets kissed by his sister. Anyways,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna go with a Legends thing. I will say that Han's character in Legends is so much deeper than like we ever see him in the original trilogy. They really go, especially because he has his own books dedicated to him and his like his whole backstory and stuff. What? Yes, Jeremiah.
Oh, Drew's mic was making some groans.
Oh, how's Drew's mic doing, Drew? How's your mic doing?
Is he babysitting little Miles at all?
Yeah.
While you and
No.
He's self-aware now.
He could probably change a
we
diaper or
know.
two.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Okay. So, anyways,
He's just dead weight right now, so.
oh come
I'm
on,
just
boo.
Ooh.
Drew's mic. Please feel free to air
from
your
here on
grievances on
out.
air.
It's like I'm gonna have mic issues every single time.
Who better to give an impression of Drew
Then Drew's mic.
He's been
Drew's
there every
mic.
second.
Oh
Anyways.
Lord, there we go.
So I will say I really like Han Solo in Legends. He really becomes like a father, like a legitimate father, and like his relationship with Leia is really good, and he matures a lot. So definitely read up on Han there. But I have two scenes that I really enjoy. One is the second time him and Kylo meet when he's a Force ghost. I really love that reunion that they have. It's just really sweet and it's really emotional. But my favorite moment is is during A New Hope when they're in the cell block, and he's like, the Imperial Guard's like, "Wait, hey, what's going on there?" And he's like, we just had a weapons malfunction. Everything's fine down here." And then he goes, "How are you?" And he just, it's just this like, my wife and I quote that. Like every once in a while, that quote still comes up because I love it. Because like it just shows, it was just such a good representation of his character and how, as like a scoundrel, he likes to improvise through things and like try to talk his way out of trouble. Like it's just very, to me, it embodies who Han is, and I really enjoy that part. So yeah, that's my favorite moment.
All right.
Yeah, so Michael, thank you for sending that in. That was a good question. That was a really good question.
Just the one voicemail tonight.
He
saved the streak. Thanks,
he
Michael.
saved the streak. Yeah. So here's the thing, and I'll say it again. I'm going to say it until it happens. If we get 12 voicemails, for example, like Michael's, where it's like a legitimate question and we can have a discussion on it, we have to get at least 12. But if we get up to 12, we'll completely scrap what we're doing for the episode and just dedicate it entirely to voicemail discussions. And I maybe try to do it before the end of the year.
Ooh, challenge.
We haven't done it. Like it's been all year, and
it could be your Christmas gift to Empire Radio.
Yeah. Give us, but give us good. Please give us good voicemails. Like I love the jokes, and I love the fun short ones. But like, give us stuff to talk about. It doesn't have to be related to Star Wars. We had a whole discussion a few weeks ago after the stream ended about different foods and melons and things. And it just went on. So the right question will set us off for sure. Especially if it has anything to do with cantaloupe and honeydew and watermelon.
How watermelon's the superior. But
yeah, for sure. How cantaloupe is it's just a melon full of empty promises, but it's fine. We're not going to go there right now.
Well, maybe you know how to do the tap test on a cantaloupe. You know,
maybe that's why.
We're not going back there.
Maybe that's why.
See, Jerica, the thump test is real. Thank you, Jerica. Anyways,
she was in.
We're not going there. So just send in your voicemails. Here's our challenge for you. If you want to give us a Christmas gift, do the 12 voicemail things. Get all your friends together. Get a group chat going in Discord or the iMessage or Facebook Messenger, whatever you use, and send in your voicemails.
Yes. Jerica just said something in the chat. She said she was typing Christmas, and Jeremiah said Christmas, and she said that was pretty creepy.
Oh, yeah, it's really creepy.
Yeah, we're like,
Jeremiah, are you force sensitive?
Ooh,
no, I don't think so.
Oh, she said the 12 voicemails of Christmas. That's amazing.
Oh,
Jerica, that is a phenomenal idea.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, I might take that and run with it. So
yes, we will.
honestly, that is
do your part.
Props to you for that. That's a great idea. So anyway, send in your voicemails. Also, if you would like to connect with us, all you have to do is type into your browser, wherever you're browsing the internet, www.links with 2 I's, links.co/Empire Radio. That's all you got to do. Once you do that, it'll take you to a landing page. It's got a link for you to leave a voicemail. It's got a link for you to join the Discord, which you totally should if you haven't already. And it's got links to all of our social media accounts as well. So that is the central hub for everything Empire Radio on the internet. So again, that is links.co/Empire Radio. That link can be found in the description of every podcast episode. If you're listening to the audio version, it can be found in our Twitch bio, twitch.tv/Empire Radio, and it can be found in our Instagram bio as well, Instagram.com or Instagram @Empire Radio Podcast. So that's how you connect with us. Anything else, boys?
Just a reminder for the new giveaway contest. Your best impression of one of us. Send as a voicemail and an email to empireradiofans@gmail.com.
There you go.
And it's for the Vader bracelet.
Ooh.
So,
sweet.
That's all I have.
All right. Well, everyone, you have been listening to another legendary episode of the Empire Radio Podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.